think probably the best humour is like that.
What about environment? I mean, Yorkshire itself. You've drawn great strength from it, great humour from it, in Python and various other things that you've done. I mean, do you find it essentially a funny place to grow up in?
Well, I think anyone who takes themselves that seriously, the way Yorkshiremen do, is a very funny place to grow up in. You know, you get the two sides. You get the very serious Yorkshireman, and you get the very funny Yorkshireman. A lot of great comedians have come from Yorkshire. And I can remember going to cricket matches and football matches, and there would actually be banter from the stands with the people on the pitch, which doesn't happen quite so much now. No. You know, there'd be great silence at cricket matches at Bramall Lane. And so, get your hands out of your pockets, Lindwall! Something like that, you know.
You got Python up there, didn't you?
Yes. I managed to persuade them that if we wanted to get some really good locations, we shouldn't use Dorking all the time. You know, we should go up to the Yorkshire moors, and persuaded them all to go up there. And I don't think they really liked it. They thought it was a bit of a plot by Michael to get them up there. And John got particularly testy. I remember one day we filmed in a nightclub. And it was early morning, and they hadn't cleaned out the nightclub from the night before. And John did something, wanted to go wash, so he goes into the toilet, and sort of stamping around, he comes back, and he said, not a single basin didn't have vomit in it. 6 basins. Anyway. Well, we did some quite nice things up there. We did things which I think amused the locals, because we did one sketch which was called the Batley Townswomen's Guild Reenact the Battle of Pearl Harbor. A ridiculous thing. Set in a muddy field high up on the moors. And we're all in drag with handbags and little hats on, and scarves, and we all rush in and beat the hell out of each other, you know, and all grapple in the mud. And it's very, very silly, and nothing really happens. Anyway, we did that, got to the end of it, and we say, right, John said, so where do we go now? Where do we clean up? And so back at the hotel. I said, the hotel's 2 hours away. I said, you know, there's nothing else to do. He said, look, we're here, we're filthy, I'm covered in mud, where on earth am I going to clean this stuff off? Of course, he forgets he's got a handbag, and he's wearing lipstick and makeup and all that. So they go and they find a local farmer. And they say, would he mind if some actors came and used his bathroom just to clean up a bit? They'd been out in the field. He said, oh, no, that's all right. And then he saw these people, 6 big lads, all in drag, coming in. Their tights in tatters, you know, the skirts the wrong way round, bras ripped, going into his bathroom.
I mean, the thing you said there, that there's, you know, looking back on Python, that something didn't work. But the fact of the matter is that nowadays, I mean, wherever you go, no matter what you've done, and you've moved on, as you all have, a pace from all that time, it remains still in the eyes, in the memories of all the people who saw it. So you're on these travels now. You're going around the world. Sure. Does that follow you around still? Are you recognised wherever you go because of that?
Not really. I mean, most of the world, but still, well, the journey I recently did around the Pacific, it's a sort of Python-free zone, most of that. But it started very badly because we were on this little island, Little Diomede, in between Russia and America. Extraordinary, just a bleak rock sticking out of the water there. They hunt whales. They've been asked if they want to move, but no, they want to stay on this little island. And we filmed with the Eskimos all day, and I thought, this is really where I've really gone to the ends of the earth here. No one will ever have been here before. And at the end of the day, we're going to get this whaleskin boat, which they provided for us. A little Eskimo group shuffles up to me. I think it's going to be a sort of traditional Eskimo farewell. And they said, are you the guy from Monty Python and the Holy Grail? I thought, well, here, you know, in the middle of the Bering Strait, they've seen the knights who say, nee! So it's, can't get away. But the rest of it, after that, it was Chinese. Python isn't well known in China.
But yet, give it time, yes. Give Mr. Murdoch time to beam the satellite in there, and it will be. And finally, one of the things that interests me about you, knowing you, so personally as well as professionally, you're such a good-tempered, good-natured man, basically. Have you ever lost your temper?
Yeah, I lose my temper quite frequently, usually in the privacy of my own home, you know. My wife reads these things in the paper about Michael being very nice, and she said they should come and interview me. Never loses his temper. Oh, yes? It's usually with inanimate objects, like, you know, something sort of a towel rail that doesn't quite stick.
Oh, I know the feeling.
And you get very angry, and you pull it down, the whole rail goes spinning off, and it goes through the window and breaks the glass anyway. But I remember actually losing my temper once on a Python shoot, and we were making the Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and I was given the rather unrewarding part of Mud Eater. And all that Mud Eater had to do was this sort of medieval village, plague village, and I had to sort of crawl across in front of John and Graham come to a certain spot and start eating mud. And that's not easy for a start, but the props man said, don't worry, Mike, you know, it's going to be chocolate. Won't be mud, it'll be chocolate. Now you try and tell chocolate from mud you know, when you've crawled for, 100 yards. I didn't, I was just getting a bit of chocolate, mostly mud. Anyway, I had to do this endlessly, largely because the other two got it wrong each time. And eventually I'd done it 7 times and I was a bit twitchy. And they said, one more take. I said, why? Why another take? So Terry Gilliam said, well, we got this really nice sort of, the sun just glinting off the armour. It's really nice. And just go, I said, and I just went, and I threw myself in the air, threw myself on the ground, just wriggled around in the mud like this. And there was a slight pause, and John and Graham just broke into spontaneous applause. A little round, them and the crew. It was very nice.
There's nothing worse.
John was so pleased. He was always losing his temper. Very well, too, actually.
Michael Palin for the moment. Thank you very much indeed. Michael Palin.